All right, this is some help with the third quiz in the Algebra 2. And this is for Brianna. Brianna, these are the ones you got wrong. And so I'm just going to go through them. If you need more help than what I give here, I would suggest you probably go to YouTube and Google factoring, because my guess is your issue with the simplifying of these fractions is with factoring. So I'm going to give you a little help, but certainly not full lessons on it. Those are like, it's about a 4-week process in Algebra 1 on factoring, but hopefully this will be enough to get you going. So your goal was to simplify this, and just like with regular fractions, just maybe as basic as 3 over 6, you really picture that you're breaking it into its factors and you're canceling out common factors. I know you just automatically know that's a half because your brain is knocking a 3 out of both of them, but it's not so easy when they're algebraic like this, so you actually have to physically break each piece apart, and it's unfoiling it. So if you remember the FOIL process from Algebra 1, what you're going to be doing on one like this is breaking it apart or unfoiling it. And if you don't know what FOIL is, that's a whole Algebra 1 topic, and you might want to go revisit that via YouTube or something. But we're trying to break this apart, and when we multiply, the only way we can get x squared is x times x. When we multiply our last terms, we need to get a 6. And the only way we can get a 6 is either with a 2 and a 3, or, I'm going to go erase that, a 2 and a 3, or with a 6 and a 1. So we have two options for ending our expansion over here. We could choose 6 and 1 or 3 and 2. That's the only things that multiply to equal this 6. Well, when I make my choice, what I do is I look at these signs and I say they're positive. So I know I need to have two pluses. So I need to make sure that not only do I multiply to equal 6, but I also have to add up to this middle term. So what that means is if both have to be positive, I have to choose 3 and 2. Basically, what you've done is factored it or unfoiled it. Watch what I mean by that. Foiling stands for first, outside, inside, last. If you do your first terms, you get x squared, which is exactly what it's supposed to be. When you do the outside terms, you get plus 2x. The inside gives you plus 3x. So there's your 5, and then your lasts give you a 6. Likewise, down on the bottom, we also need to lead in x and x because of this x squared here. Then I still go to this 6, and I have to make my decision. Do I use 6 and 1 or 3 and 2? Well, now what I know is one has to be positive and one has to be negative, because I'm multiplying to equal a negative 6. Well, at the same time, they have to add up to negative 1. There is no way I'm getting a negative 1. I could get 7s and 5s out of these two numbers, but not a negative 1. I can out of this pair as long as the 3 is negative. They multiply to equal negative 6 and add up to negative 1. So I know I've got x minus 3 and x plus 2. Now I get to cancel common factors. And I'd say the answer is x plus 3 over x minus 3. And that's one of the ones you got wrong. It's all about factoring. And if you need more help on factoring, that would be a YouTube lookup. That's an Algebra 1 topic. The other one you got wrong looked like this. And all you do on here, because it's already factored and broken into its pieces, you just cancel common factors. This is identical to this. So the answer should have just been 5 over x plus 1. That one, I wonder if you accidentally clicked on the wrong one or something, because that one was pretty easy. And I know exactly what you did wrong on the next one. You had this one wrong on your quiz, and you were supposed to say, they gave you this, and it asked you what x couldn't be. And you knew that you couldn't have zeros, but you clicked on 2 because it makes the top 0, and negative 6 because it makes the bottom 0. But when you have a fraction, it's perfectly legal to have 0 on the top. 0 divided by 8 is 0 because there aren't any 8s that fit into 0. But 8 over 0 is the one that has no answer, because you're asking yourself, how many zeros can I fit into 8? And you can't even get past 0 if you think of 0 plus 0 plus 0. Kind of get stuck in an infinite loop there. So when it asks you what x can't be, you only look at the bottom. And it's whatever makes the factors on the bottom equal to 0. 7 can't be 0, but this chunk could be when x is negative 6. So we just need to know that x can't be negative 6. Otherwise, we're going to be dividing by 0, and that would cause us a problem. So watch. If they give you one like this on the next quiz, and let's say this is x times x plus 2, and let's say x minus 3. And if it said, what can't x be? Well, it can't be anything that makes the bottom equal to 0, so you're going to completely ignore the top. And you've got 3 factors on the bottom. What would make this 0? 0. What would make this chunk 0? Negative 2. What would make this chunk 0? A 3. So these are the values that x cannot be. You ignore the top. All right. So the other one you got wrong was another simplifying one. So we have to remember how to factor when we have what's called a trinomial or 3 terms on the bottom. Remember, I just showed you how to do that. We break it up into 2 pieces. Only x times x gives us x squared. We go to the lasts and we say, well, how can I multiply to equal 6? That option and that option. But at the same time, I have to add up to 7. So this one is out of the running. Everything's positive, so I have plus plus, and I'd have a plus 6 and a plus 1. On the top, that's not the same kind of factoring because I don't have 3 terms. Because both of these are even, what it means is you can yank a 2 out or divide a 2 out of each of these. 2x divided by 2 is just x, and 12 divided by 2 is just 6. Now you can cancel these, and you should have clicked on 2 over x plus 1. And again, if you need more help on the factoring, you will need to either re-watch the video notes or you can even just Google how do I factor, and it will talk you through that. And you can just kind of click on the types you need. But these are the ones you got wrong on the quiz, so hopefully that'll give you enough to move on forward. Keep on working hard, hon.